So we're now joined by Chase Wright, who's in a lovely sunny place, as we've just heard before, making us jealous. How you doing, Chase?
Awesome, guys.
Well, it's really great to have you. We're really excited to have you on. We've been looking forward to tonight, or in your case, the afternoon,
Yeah.
and just to kind of catch up and see what's going on with yourself, which leads me on to my very first question, which I love asking people, is how did you get into becoming where you are today?
Goodness, man, it's kind of I don't think it's the most traditional story. I went to college for economics, and I thought about doing business my whole life, and I thought I was going to climb the corporate ladder and the whole thing. And so, as a part of this college program, I got this like corporate internship in finance, and I worked that for like 6 months, and I just did not like it at all. I was like, I cannot do this forever. And I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, this is what I thought I was gonna do forever, right? And so I just started playing out in bars in my like college town. You know, I was like 2 years into playing guitar at the time. I started playing guitar freshman year of college, and so this is about like sophomore, junior year. And so, yeah, I just started playing out at bars, and I was like, you know, music is fun. I like it. I'm making like the smallest amount of money from it. And I was like, I really think there's like something there. And I was like, I've got a year and a half left to college. It's pretty risk-free for me to try this out. And so I started when I was at that internship, just started posting videos on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and really trying to do this like digital marketing thing. And I was like, I'm just going to give this an honest effort for the last year and a half. And it's probably 6 months into like really working at it. My now manager reached out to me via Instagram, seeing one of my videos, and you know, got me to come down to Nashville. And then so, I mean, that was probably, I would say maybe like 8 to 10 months after I started really getting after it, is when I came to Nashville for the very first time.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's insane because the amount of country artists that we speak to, and they all say like they started out country music in like the college, and if you can win over a college town with like your music, like you're gonna be destined for stardom.
Yeah, I just always thought of like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube as being my like outlet to making music happen. Like I am a like businessman, like through and through. And I was thinking of how much, I was like, man, this is going to cost me a lot of money and be a lot of risk if I just move to like Nashville or something. Right. And so I was like, I can't just move there aimlessly. Like, I feel like if I just stay here and post videos, I can reach a lot more people, and it's going to cost a lot less money. And so that's really what I dove into early on, was how do I effectively, you know, create content and post.
I love that because myself, I've got a business degree, and I just love how you've like completely looked at the music industry in a completely different way to everybody else, like would sort of go the normal route.
Yeah. I think that that's one thing that maybe does differentiate me a bit, is that, I mean, I think of it as a business first. I obviously love the like artistry and like creative stuff. So I was an economics major and art minor, which is kind of an odd combo, but yeah, so I definitely think of it as a business first. And so I think that helps with a lot of the like decision making, and maybe has helped me cut through a little bit. I don't really know, but
that's really cool. But so in November 2021, you had your debut album finally coming out, Intertwined. What was that finally like, getting that out?
I think that it'll finally like really hit me when we get the actual vinyl records in. It's taken a bit longer than we had thought to get those made. We ordered them last year, and they're still not in yet. But I think once that actually happens and you're able to like actually hold the record, I think that's when it's really gonna like hit me. I mean, it's like something that you know, obviously you like grew up listening to music, right? And we all grew up like buying CDs and stuff like that, right? It's something that you don't really think is possible. And then when it finally happened, I'm like, it's like it still hasn't really clicked. And I think that moment when I finally hold it, I'm like, wow, this is like real, you know?
Yeah,
that's gonna be so cool.
It must be crazy if like to walk into a like shop and see a record on the shelf, because obviously with the age that we live in with streaming and everything like that, like when I was a kid, it used to be cassettes. like
Okay.
and Walkmans and stuff like that. So
Right.
When you were a kid, you make yourself sound like you're so old.
You're like 45 years old.
It's just like, oh, back in my day, you know, we had cassettes.
I love it. Yeah, no, I think that, yeah, I mean, there's like a couple things that I haven't yet lived through, and I kind of want to, like hearing my song on the radio. I mean, that when that happens, it's going to be one of those like, holy cow, right? Like, this is like real. I'm not just, you know, this isn't like fake anymore. This isn't some like hobby. This is like a real life. And I think one of those other things would be like seeing, you know, one of your records in a like, you know, record store or whatever, right? Like something that you can actually see and buy is going to be like really, really awesome.
That's unbelievable. But one thing we must do is congratulate you for hitting
100%.
over 18 million streams on Spotify on your latest track. Why Should
Unreal.
We? It's one of our favorite tracks.
We were just listening to it before actually as well. Like, it is awesome.
Thank you so much.
So what was that feeling like? And could you also give us a bit of context about like the meaning behind the track as well?
Yeah, I mean, that song generally is something that, I mean, it's crazy to see the life that it's taken on. And it was one of those things that a couple of my buddies, it was 2019, it was like December of 2019, and Nashville pretty much shuts down. Nobody really works. And like December, after like the first week, it's all like holiday season and stuff. And so
nice.
We got together like right before we were all about to go back home. And we're like, you know what, like we're all like really close friends. Like, let's just get together, do one last write, you know, and then just call it a year, you know? And so we got together, and yeah, one of my friends just tossed it out, and we just started working on it. And it's really cool. It like wasn't a very hard song to write. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And just sort of like went into the holiday season and was like, yeah, okay, we got a pretty good one. And we were looking at songs to record at the top of 2020, and that song just kept coming around. But I just write so many songs. I don't really know what's good and what's not, because I'm so close to all of them. I like them all. I need other people to tell me. And so that was one that people just sort of suggested, and I was like, okay, let's go record it and whatever. And then yeah, I mean, we put it out January of, yeah, what was it, January 2021. And I mean, it like, it's crazy how, I mean, 3 weeks after it came out, Spotify really started supporting it. And I mean, since then it's been like wild, like being able to, now I go and play shows, and like the very first song I ever heard somebody sing back to me was that one, right? And it was like, people didn't know me necessarily, you know, yet, but they had heard the song and were singing the song back to me, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced, you know?
I couldn't even
imagine. I mean,
that.
it's been absolutely wild.
That'd be so, oh man, do you know, that would be amazing. Just standing up there, you're just playing away, and then all you have to do is stop singing because everyone else is doing it for you.
Well, I like go into every situation thinking that nobody knows who I am at all, right? So I'm just singing whatever. And to be honest, I don't think that people did know who I was, right? They're just like, oh, there's this guy singing songs. And then when I sang that song, they started singing back, and I was like, wait, what? Like they've like heard this song before, and they've heard it enough to know the words to it, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, it was like absolutely wild. And yeah, super cool to be able to go to like a random place and sing for random people, and them to know a song.
Okay, it would be really funny if someone came up to you afterwards and go, "Oh, that was a great cover you did, by the way."
That was a great cover.
It's like, no, it's my song.
Right, I love it, and it's, I mean, that's like one thing that I always wanted to do coming to town, was play, you know, for like people. Like I'm writing is cool, and I do love it, but I don't know. I really think that my biggest impact is going to be in the live show. And yeah, I mean, just going out and playing, like my very first show I ever played for anybody, like, I don't know, it was just like super cool. People knew the songs and were like singing back to me.
Cool, man.
But like, because you were talking about like writing songs and that, did you start writing the album back in like 2018? And then
yeah, I think the oldest song on there, I think is Drive, and it was written back in 2018, the end of 2018, and it was one that I think I needed it at the time, because I was just so new to writing. Like I had written maybe 3 total songs before I came to Nashville and started writing with like other people, and I just sort of was like fake it till you make it, which is kind of the mindset I've taken this whole time. It's just fake it till you make it. Like act like you know what you're doing, even though you really don't.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I was right. I mean, hey, it like works, and people don't really know if you're confident like enough about it, right? And so I think that song is one that I really needed, because I've been writing songs with people, but nothing felt like, oh, this is like this could be like something, right? And I wrote Drive, and I just remember being so confident about it and be like, wow, this really feels like me. This really feels like a song that, could really cut through and, could like really work. And yeah, it didn't come out for like 2.5 years, but it finally did. And now it's, doing really well. And it's yeah, I mean, it's just like super cool to see that finally like come to life.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
like we were talking before we came on, and we're just saying like how much of a like unique style you have. I don't think there's anything quite like yourself in Nashville, which is so cool as well to have. But like when you said you only wrote like 3 songs before moving to Nashville, do you feel like working with some of the writers in Nashville and like some of the other talent brings out the best of you? Like what's the pool like across there?
Yeah. No, I definitely think so. Because what I've like realized early on is like, I mean, and I still now it's like everybody has their like unique style of writing. Like my like strengths aren't, like I write the best songs when I find somebody to compliment me, right? Because I have very large gaps in my writing. Like I'm great at these things, but not good at all at these things, right? So to find somebody that's good at these things, and you come together and make like really like something really cool. But I think you mentioned like the like unique style and stuff, and I've like never really thought of it like that. I just like listen to so many different things, and like to be honest, I don't really listen to like a ton of country music. I listen to a lot of other things, and I don't really listen to one genre more than the other. It's just sort of all over the board, and I just sort of pull all of those elements and create a song that like I love. And I don't necessarily ever have the mindset of like what does the like industry want to hear, what does this playlist want to see, or what does the consumer, it's just like I make music that I love, and I'm like, well, if I love it, somebody else might also, or probably will also. And so
Oh yeah.
I think that you see like in a couple of the songs I put like some like EDM drops in them and stuff, and it's like because I love that type of music, but it still has the like meaningful lyric of a country song, right? Which is something that I've always loved about country music, is that you listen to a song and take away some like meaning, right? It's not just like mindless words. And so although the like sound of country music has changed so much from when it first started to now, it's like what's stayed true through all of that time is its meaningful lyric. And so that's something that I really do value. But also sonically, I feel like I just pull elements of tons of stuff.
Oh, 100%. I mean, clearly you're doing something right as well, because you are apparently one of the many artists to be watched in 2022, according to Hot Country and things like that. That must be an amazing feeling that people are showing that recognition of you, that you are to watch this year.
Absolutely wild. And with that, I didn't really know at the time I was super, super honored. I mean, like because I've like looked at those things before, like just as a pure like fan, and been like, and so many artists that I'm fans of were artists to watch, in years like prior. And so to be one of those artists that, maybe somebody's looking up to, or, as a fan, it's just like super, super cool. And one really cool perk that came with that, I didn't know it was going to come with it, but my face was on a billboard for like a week in Nashville. And it was just like, I was just driving down the road, and there's my face just on the side of this like big old billboard building thing. And I was like, this is like surreal. I moved to Nashville in 2019, and it is, the first week of 2022, and my face is on the side of a building, and I was just like, it was like one of those moments where I just sort of sat there and like watched it click by like 4 times, because I'm like, this is crazy how this is like real life right now,
Just circling the block just so you can see it over.
Right. No, I just like literally parked and just watched that thing just like flip through, each like frame. And I just sat there for like 20 minutes and just watched it like come around three or four times. And I was just like, it's just wild that like how far things have come. And it's one of those, I'm not very good at like being in the moment. I'm always like, what's next? And so that was one time I was really like, I'm trying to be mindful now of like just sort of trying to be in moments that are cool and moments that I should like, because to be honest, it all could go away tomorrow, right? And so you just want to, I feel like it's healthier for me to like really focus on the good things and like be in those moments when they happen. And so that was like one thing that was super, super cool for me.
So obviously it's like a really great accolade and all that, but does it like make you feel like added pressure as well, being like one of like the top artists to watch?
I don't know. I think that my like sports background like keeps me from feeling like the pressure of things. Like I ran track in college and I ran 10 years total, but took it, pretty seriously, the last couple of years of high school, and then college I ran track. And I think just being that like you are responsible for your own destiny as far as like the like track meet goes, your race. And I think that just being able to like, I don't know, like really focus on what you have to do and being, like personally responsible and like I like love it. It gives me confidence and like sort of fires me up and like keeps me going and keeps my like, spirits high. But I've never felt like a pressure with it. It just sort of just adds a bit of like motivation that like what we've done so far is working. Now let's try to keep it going. And, because it is, I guess the only pressure would be like, okay, this first record's out. Now what about the second one? Right. But it just really adds a fire under me to like keep it going.
Oh, cool.
But so you've started doing Nashville Hits the Roof series and you've played one show already. So like you've got a couple of more shows lined up. What can we expect from them? Yeah,
so it was like the last couple months of last year, I did like this first part of the Nashville Hits the Roof series. I played I think 7 dates. And so that was my first experience like ever playing out, with my band, my shows. And I'd never played with a band before that like tour, which is something super, super cool and something I'd like look forward to doing. And so that was really neat. And I've learned so much, and it's just been a really great learning experience, like being able to play those shows and learn about like what works and what doesn't work as far as like, just all the technical thing that goes behind a show. Right. And so learned a lot from that. And then, I just played Nashville on the first show of this year a couple weeks ago. And that was super, super cool. I mean, to see that, because I played a show in Nashville now. I think that was my third one. And I'm starting to see like the same faces, but also those same faces are bringing new faces. And so it's cool to see like the slow growth of those like shows and the like confidence in my like self. Like I feel like my show's getting better. And so we got North Carolina, South Carolina, which never been there before. So I'm fired up to go there. And then 2 shows in Florida, which should be awesome too, right? Like can't complain about that. And so I don't really know what to expect with those. I've never played there, and I haven't even been to some of those like cities ever. So I don't really know what to expect, but I'm really fired up to play in like new cities and build that fan base.
That's going to be so cool. So we're coming to the end. I promise we will not keep what was it? What was I said once? Interrogating. Apparently, I have that interrogation thing about me. I'm not sure if it's just the light. But so for the rest of 2022, have you got any like more like shows? Any more plans coming up? Obviously, I know you got shows, but any more like maybe songs that will be coming out soon?
Yeah. So as far as like the shows go, I just recently signed with an agency, which for those that don't know is the part of your team that like books all of those things, the like shows and concerts and all that. So I just recently signed with one, and I'm super, fired up about the team that we have there. And so there might be some more shows being added. I'm not really like sure yet, but that team is just absolutely amazing. So super thankful for that opportunity. And so that's been really motivating to me, because that was one part of the team that I feel like I was missing and I really, really wanted. And so now that we have that, it's like, the sky's the limit for us, which is really awesome. And as far as music goes, I'm going to go back and record here in the next month or so some songs that should be out towards the middle of the year. And so just getting those songs together, still writing songs, because I've got about half the songs that I feel like I should have going into this like recording session, and so gotta write the other half between now and then. So a little bit of pressure, but I like kind of like the pressure. So But the songs that we do have, I mean, I think that, I mean, they're some of my favorites that I've ever written, and I'm really fired up, and it's something that I'm really mindful of, like, okay, like I feel like the first record, I'm really proud of the quality of the first record, and I want to continue to have that same quality through the next project, whatever that is. Even though I don't necessarily have as much time to write that project, because you have forever to write your first, but then the second one, you're limited by time. And so, but I'm really trying to keep that same quality, and I really am confident that the songs we have picked out so far to record really fall in line with that. So
that's awesome. Well, I mean, by the seams of it, 2022 has definitely got your name written all over it, especially on a big billboard. It's got your face on it as well. So, I mean, you're obviously doing something right. You've got two big fans here. Like I said, we were very excited about tonight. We love your music. And for anyone who's listening right now, obviously follow Chase Wright, listen to his stuff. It is amazing. And obviously we look forward to more coming. But Blaine really wants to play a game with you.
Let's do it.
It's normally me who plays this game. It's like it's a quick question round type thing.
Perfect. All right.
So
this is Blaine.
So we've got 10 questions for you.
All right.
Some based around like research that we did on you. So literally just whatever comes to your head first. It's nothing, anything bad or anything like that. So number one, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I hope Bengals, but I know LA Rams.
Yeah, I hope the Bengals as well. Joe Burrow all the way.
I mean, yeah, but I mean the Rams are just absolutely solid.
I said the Rams are going to win.
Yeah. I mean, I think logically the Rams are going to win, but I mean, seeing Joe win would be really sick.
Yeah. Favorite soccer team?
As Newcastle.
Much as I played soccer, I'm gonna like preface this. This is kind of bad. You guys are probably gonna be like, "What?" But as much as I played soccer forever, but I never really like got a premier team. I never was like behind a premier team. My favorite player was David Beckham, which is why I wore 23 for everything.
No,
so
that's funny.
He played for Man U. He played for, but like I loved the LA Galaxy when I was like younger, because that's when he moved to the and I would go and watch those games. And so I don't know, I'd probably say LA Galaxy. They had like Ibrahimovic too, which is super fun to watch. And so I'd probably say that.
Now, it's really funny that you just mentioned David Beckham. I'm about to give you the biggest compliment here, by the way. So for all the ladies in the UK and USA, if you have not seen what Chase Wright looks like, my description of you actually look a bit like David Beckham.
I love that. I love if like I am his age and look like, I mean, I will be like elated. Like he is still.
I was going to say, if you look like him when you're.
I mean, I don't. For some reason, I don't
50.
really feel like that's possible. I don't know if that's possible for anybody, but I mean, love the guy.
Like a bottle of nice red wine. Like.
Oh, hey.
I'll let Blaine carry on. I'm out. I'm sitting to the side now. Yeah, I'm done.
What's your dream venue to play?
My hometown venue, definitely the one. I like grew up going to every single concert there. It's in the outdoor amphitheater, about 30 minutes from my house, and that's definitely one that, I mean, when I play that, I mean, it's gonna be like I was just like, okay, we're good. This is it for me.
What's your favorite hobby?
As psycho as it is, probably, I mean, working out generally, but like running, I love it. I need it for my like mental health. And that's something that like if I have some free time, I'm either going to the gym or I'm running, and yeah.
Interesting.
Just like Beckham.
Just like Beckham.
What is your guilty pleasure?
That's a hard question.
It's tough. That is like tough. I was like, that question made me realize how boring I actually am. I don't know. I feel like I'm such a like routine guy. I was like, what is my guilty pleasure? What do I do that, I mean,
that's a really hard question.
I really don't even know. I mean, as far as I'm just gonna like because I don't have a good answer for you. Like let me just modify that. Just something that I do all the time that people would probably think is crazy. I clean like religiously. Like I clean my house every single day, multiple times a day.
I mean,
it's not really a guilty pleasure.
That is a guilty pleasure to some.
It makes me like, it makes me feel good. So I don't know.
I mean, that, to be fair, in the background, I can see your TV, and that looks like the cleanest screen I've ever seen.
It's like maybe the mirror isn't as clean. It's harder to clean. It's like standing up. I don't want to fall on me. I don't know, but yeah, I'd like try to clean the house a lot. So
what's one thing that people don't know about yourself?
It's a problem with social media. You know everything about it.
I know. I was like, I try to be pretty open book. I don't even. Oh man, maybe one thing that people that might not really know. I'm a massive IndyCar fan. In IndyCar, I don't know if you're familiar with IndyCar. It's like Formula One. I also love that too. Like, I mean, open wheel racing generally, am a huge fan of. But yeah, it's like America's Formula One, you know. And some old Formula One drivers come and race in like IndyCar. It's like the MLS to the Premier League, right? It's like very competitive and still great to watch, but like not on the same stage as like. But I mean, yeah, the Indianapolis 500 is in my like hometown. Indianapolis, and it's like I look forward to that race more than I do like Christmas Day or any other day, right? And so cool. I was just like looked over, saw a bunch of like IndyCar stuff over here, and I think that's something that is such a big part of my life, and I've been going to those races since I was tiny, and so maybe some people don't know.
That's pretty awesome. That.
Who's your dream collaboration?
Oh.
I got a couple. I got a couple. I mean, I think the biggest musical influences for me, I mean, would be like a Keith Urban, or I mean, like it'd be cool to collaborate with like the Chainsmokers or Martin Garrix, or like, I mean, like a Machine Gun Kelly. I cannot get enough of it. I mean, you know, and so it's like there's like a plethora and an array of stuff, and so, but I think that I mean, I love a Keith Urban. I love all those guys, and so I don't know. That's like a tough one, but I mean, like Justin Bieber would be a sick one, right? Just like I have so many different types of artists that I listen to, but I don't know.
And then finally, what is your favorite track on Intertwined?
I'd say Wish You'd Miss Me. I think that was one where that was the first time that I'm like, this is so honest. Like I needed the track at the time because I was going through some stuff, and I think that was the first time where I sort of fought for what I wanted to say and really just said what was honest and what was like true, and didn't really care necessarily how it sounded, if I was calling somebody out or whatever, act like I just was able to say my truth. And I think that's what people really loved about it, was that it was just real. It was very real. And so that's a song that sort of got everything started for me too. It was the second single I ever put out, and it got some like TikTok traction and different, streaming, I mean, YouTube track. So it like really started some things for me and opened some doors for me. And so I'll always love the song for that, but also, I mean, it just like really meant a lot to me.
That's perfect. I mean, people say that I interrogate. I mean, that was brutal.
That was pretty hard.
Those were some I mean, like those like for like face value weren't like hard questions necessarily, but it was like that like guilty pleasure went through me. I'm like, what is my guilt? I don't know. I feel like there's got to be something, but I was like, man, I must just be a boring guy.
I mean, when was the last time someone asked you about a guilty pleasure? I mean, this is why he doesn't do the game. I do the game normally.
I love it. I love it. I was like, well, guilty pleasure. I mean, I do clean the house a lot. I was like, I'm always picking up and wiping counters, and I was like, it's kind of crazy, but it makes me feel good. So
there's a lot of girls out there right now that are going, oh my God, he cleans as well. Like that, he looks like David Beckham. He's clean. Yeah.
And he cleans. Oh my gosh.
But no, just something different, we thought these questions, it gets to show a different side of like yourself.
No, yeah, absolutely.
And, something different. But thank you so much for being such a good sport and playing that. And once again, thank you for joining me.
It's been great.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah,
and just when we finished, we'll chat with you just after, and but we'll say goodbye for the end of the interview. So thank you so much, Chase. It's been awesome.